This video is part of a series, so if you found this video randomly, click the link in the video description taking you to the initial video. Alright, now if you're pretty experienced with tension releasing exercises, this video right here is for newbies or people that haven't done it for a long time and just need a refresher course. So if that's you and you've done this enough times, the link in the video description will take you to a video to guide you through the tension release process, okay? That said, for those of you that are new to this, or it's been a while, or you just want a little more guidance, you're on the right video. So now that we have done all the exercises, if your legs were dropped apart like this, go ahead and just leave them there and relax. If they were straight up and down, just leave them there and relax. We're just gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to give like an audible exhale. Nice deep breath. And now those of you that have your legs straight up and down, go ahead and drop them apart. And again, as long as this is comfortable, at any point with this, if a position is uncomfortable, it shouldn't be. And so if you need to kind of prop a pillow or a towel underneath your hip or your knee because it's giving you trouble, do that. Or if just having your leg dropped out too much is uncomfortable, then maybe bring one leg up and just have the other leg dropped out. Listen to your body. All else fails. If it's not working, stop. Listen to your body. So you might need to have guidance with somebody. But otherwise, just adjust, figure out what works. So everyone should have your legs just dropped out apart like this. So you might start feeling little tremors engaging in here. A lot of people won't yet. But now what I want you to do is just an inch or two, bring your knees up together. So I'm not saying come all the way in here. Just come up about an inch or two. And again, you're just relaxing and breathing. Deep breath. Good. And just hanging out here. After another 20 or 30 seconds, we're going to come in another inch or two. And I'm not directly timing this, I'm just kind of ballparking the time. So let's come in another inch or two. And now, if you look at my legs, you can kind of see it's a small rapid tremor, and so it might be harder to see, but I can definitely feel it. It's a very vigorous, rapid tremor going on in my legs here. And so you might start feeling something similar engage. Yours might be bigger like this, but a lot of times starting out, it's really small and rapid. So just, again, as long as it feels comfortable and safe, just allow your body to process, just let that happen. Good. Nice deep breath, audible exhale. It's just a good way just to help the body to relax. Again, let's go in another inch or two, bringing your knees a little closer together. Now, as you're coming in, look at my feet. Your feet kind of start together, but the more you come in, it'll be just kind of natural just to flatten them a little bit. So just kind of hang out there and just let your body do its thing, let it tremor. And again, yours might not be tremoring as much as mine's doing right now, and yours might be tremoring more. But as long as it feels comfortable and safe, then you're fine. Let your body do its thing. It's completely natural. Nice deep breath. Good. Now, the closer we bring our knees in towards each other, in general, they're going to tremor more. That said, if they're straight up and down, that kind of turns it off usually. But the closer they are together without being straight up and down, the more likely they're going to tremor a lot. Now you can see my upper body's kind of engaging. You might not get that initially. Most people aren't going to get the upper body engaged. So I'm going to kind of disengage the upper body, even though it wants the tremor. I can just stop it. So I can stop my legs right now too if I want. You're always in control. If you ever don't feel in control, that's your cue to stop. This is a natural process, but you are still in control. It should feel comfortable and safe. When I say in control, like this is happening involuntarily. I'm letting the body just do it, but it's something that I can just stop if I want to. Let me briefly mention that if at any point you feel like your body needs to stop this process, just lay your legs flat on the ground or roll over and curl up into a ball and just relax there. Okay? So that being said, we're not doing that right now unless you feel like your body needs to stop. So we're allowing the body to tremor. And so like I said, the more the knees are in together without being straight up and down is generally where it's going to tremor most. The other variant is in the feet position. If I scoot the feet away, generally it's going to calm down. In my case, it didn't just now, but that's a general rule of thumb. If I bring the feet closer, that actually did pick it up a lot. It even changed the pattern. And again, don't expect yours to be doing this big vibration pattern like mine's doing right now. A lot of people starting out, it's just kind of a small little vibration pattern there. So I'm going to let my body go back to what it wants to do there though. So now if you bring your feet up too close to where it's kind of locked in, it kind of blocks the flow there. So you just kind of have to find that position there where it gets a real rapid tremor there. Now, rule of thumb in terms of tremoring is this whole process is a process of listening to your body, coming to understand what your body wants. And so even though this is the spot where my body tremors the most, and it's completely natural to let it tremor like this, if I'm feeling like the body just wants a more calm tremor, then I'm going to find a position that reflects that. Okay, so I might scoot my feet away a little bit and drop my knees out a little, and then it kind of does a calmer pattern. In this case, it actually is engaging my neck and shoulders and kind of getting me to stretch a little. But so as you do this more and more, you'll become more in tune with what it feels like your body wants, and then you'll be able to test out the different positions to help your body engage the way that feels the most comfortable at that moment. Okay, so that said, sometimes part of the process is to just take a break as well. Okay, and so you've been tremoring for a few minutes. I want you to go ahead now and just lay your legs flat, even if it's feeling comfortable, even if it's feeling fine. And we're just going to breathe and relax here for about a minute. So go ahead and just breathe, relax. Nice deep breath. Audible exhale. Again, nice deep breath. And just relax. Now sometimes as we're laying here, as we've had this tremor process already engaged in our body, and then we take a little break like this, it can be common to almost just feel just like a subtle wave of energy is the best word I can give it. It's almost like a cellular tremoring going on in the body. It's just like a wave of relaxation over the body. And you won't always get that, but it can be pretty common. But your body is still continuing the process here. So just breathe and relax. And we're just going to relax here for about another 15 to 30 seconds here. Nice deep breath. Now, laying in this position is comfortable for me. If you need like a pillow or a bolster under your knees to have a little bend, listen again, always listening to your body. This never should be painful or uncomfortable. If laying flat like this for a long time is going to be really sore on your back, you may want to prop something underneath your low back. So just listen to your body. That's I'll probably say that another 20 times. So nice deep breath. Okay, good. Now that we've had a chance to let our body relax, we're going to go ahead and bring our knees back up. That said, like I've mentioned a million times already, listen to your body. If your body wants you just to stay relaxed there, stay relaxed there. You might be done for today. But otherwise, go ahead and bring your knees back up and notice how my legs actually like start rapidly tremoring, even way more than it was before. Again, yours is probably not going to be this rapid your first time, but my body is kicking in a whole lot more. So it's common to find that after having let the body relax partway through and you bring your legs back up, that it will be either a little bit more rhythmic or a more intense tremor, or a combination of the two. So, but I'm gonna suppress it right now. So in terms of the position when you come back up, the same guidelines as we talked about before. Just find a comfortable position that resonates with your body. And when you're new to this, it's kind of harder to know. And so the general rule of thumb is just to find where it tremors the most. So again, that's the feet closer to the body without being too close, and knees slightly dropped apart, and kind of just let the body do its thing. Yours will probably look more like this, where you won't really see much, or it'll kind of bob around kind of like that. But just let your body tremor and shake. And you're pretty much just going to hang out here the first couple weeks of doing the tension releasing exercises. We're going to do a maximum of about 15 to 20 minutes of the actual tremor portion. So that's aside from the exercises that warmed us up to it. But about 15-20 minutes letting your body tremor, unless your body tells you otherwise and you need to stop before that. But always just taking nice deep breaths and exhaling. So just go ahead and just kind of let your body tremor here. I'm going to kind of just talk and give you some more information about the process here and there, guide you on your breathing, but some points I'm just going to be quiet here as well. In fact, I'm going to start a stopwatch on my watch for about 10 minutes, and then we'll kind of wrap up at that point. So nice deep breath. Good. You don't have to raise your arms up like I did just there, but just kind of relaxing. So as you're doing this and you're getting the tremors here, know that it is okay if your body is just barely getting a little micro tremor. That is totally fine, okay? Just breathe, just let your body process. Now, if you've done this a few times and your body's still just getting that tiny little micro tremor, but it still feels comfortable and natural and relaxed, it may just be your body's working on a very small microscopic level with the body. If you get to a point where you're doing this consistently and your body's keeping to whatever pattern it is consistently, that can be normal and that's fine. But if it feels like your body's almost trying to work its way up through the body, but just for some reason it can't, in that scenario, it's good to come and work with a practitioner like myself or someone else to be guided through the process and help your body and help kind of figure out getting your body to channel through whatever it needs at that time. So, but as a general rule, this is a great process that you can just do on your own, let your body process, and it might do the same pattern again and again and again, and then eventually change. You also might have a session, and go ahead and just keep tremoring right now, and I'm just kind of chatting you through this. Or if you're watching all this ahead of time and you're going to come back and do this later, that's fine too. So, you also may have times where you're doing the tremor process and the tremoring pattern changes throughout one session too. And so I'm gonna manually do stuff in my body. So I'll let my body do what it's naturally doing right now, which is this, which is cool. I can kind of feel it stretching out the shoulder and neck a little bit, especially my left shoulder. So, but let's say the body kind of decides to just kind of disengage the arms and just tremor through the legs. I'm kind of doing this manually now. My tremoring, it's kind of doing its thing, but I'm engaging a little differently. So, so say the body tries to do the legs, and then all of a sudden the legs kind of just stop. Sometimes part of the process is stillness as well. Okay, so if your body ever just kind of pauses like this, that can be completely normal. Okay, let your body do its thing. Sometimes you'll find that after maybe 30 seconds or so, it'll all of a sudden just start to tremor and shake again. And the body just kind of needed to kind of change out some circuits and whatever word you want to use there, and then it kind of just re-engages. So another interesting pattern that I've felt in my body before is actually the body will kind of just pivot side to side, and it's kind of cool. I'm just manually doing this right now, but my body has done this before, and I feel that the low back is just kind of stretching as we do that. And so sometimes the body's side to side like this. Other times you'll just kind of feel that the body just kind of draws all the way over to one side, and it'll just kind of hang out there. And as the body is hanging out here, a lot of times I'll even just kind of feel that the legs even just start to relax over into that position. And if you get to a point where your body's just totally relaxed in the position of the side like this, again, relaxing can be part of the process, so just know that that is a thing. But also, if it feels like your body's just kind of settled over here and it's not meant to be over here anymore, you can manually just bring the legs back up. And then sometimes what will happen is the body will just kind of kick back into a tremoring pattern. So, and then you're like, okay, it was done with whatever process it was going for over there. But other times I've done this, I'll bring the legs back up and it'll just go whoop and just go right back to that spot. Then I'm just like, okay, the body's working through something here, kind of. Maybe it just needs to stretch through the low back here, I don't know. But you just kind of let the body do its thing. And again, I've said this a million times, as long as it's comfortable and safe, then let your body do its thing. And when I say comfortable and safe, this is a very physical process of releasing tension and stress in the body, but our mind and our emotions are very interconnected with the physical. And so if the body is releasing tension in a certain region of the body that has an emotional tie to it, which every area is going to have some degree of an emotional tie, but you might feel certain emotions come on as you're doing this process. And so it should feel comfortable and safe physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. In any way, if this doesn't feel comfortable or safe, then it's time for you to take a break. Okay? So that being said, I'm fortunate in my life. I don't experience anxiety. Okay? And to those of you that do, I know it can be a crippling thing. That said, one of the times when I was doing the tension releasing process, just out of nowhere, I started to really feel anxious and feel it, what to me was a true anxiety. But it was at a level that I still felt safe. It didn't feel overpowering. And so I let the tremor process continue. I let the body sort through that. The body kind of brings things to the surface in order to not literally let go, but to organize the information in our bodies. And I guess in a way let go as well. So in that particular scenario that I'm talking about, it didn't become overwhelming, but it was definitely there. And I just kind of let the body process, and with time, that anxiety calmed down. Now, the other scenario that can happen is if that anxiety became really intense and too strong, that would be my cue to take a break. I would lay my legs down or curl up in a ball and just let my body settle and relax. Now, say I were to curl up in a ball and just kind of let that anxiety pass, or whatever the emotion is. At the end of letting that relax, which when you're rolling over, it's nice to have a pillow close by just to kind of prop your head on. I don't have one with me at the moment, but once that emotion has passed, you've got two options here. You can just be done with that session of TRE, or you can lay back onto your back, let the tremoring re-engage, and one of two things is going to happen. That anxiety is going to swell right back up really powerfully, and then you know you're done. Roll onto your side, just slide your legs away, just let your body relax. You need to just let your body process and not encourage it to bring anything else up, okay? However, a lot of times what will happen when you lay back up here after it's had a chance to calm down is either you won't feel that emotion come up at all anymore, or you'll feel it come up, but now it is at a comfortable and safe level, okay? And you're going to have to gauge that for yourself. If it's comfortable and safe or not present anymore, then you're just going to let the body tremor and let the body process and sort through the information. So if you have any specific questions on that, definitely comment in the video description below. And in scenarios where really strong emotions are involved, it is definitely a good idea to work with a practitioner, or at least have somebody that has already done the tension release process with you, just because it can be safer to have somebody there. So, go ahead and take a nice deep breath. If you've just been laying there and letting it tremor, a nice deep breath. So just know that emotions are a part of this process, even though we're targeting things physically. I'm going to go ahead and show you a variety of different patterns that your body can do in this process as well. So I've already shown you some, but it's interesting. I've had times where my body will almost kind of like go into like a lift my head up and just kind of drop back down. And in those scenarios, I'm letting the body do its thing, but I obviously have to protect my head on the way back down. I don't want it to just smack, because otherwise that's kind of what the body's doing. And so you still have to be conscious of what's going on. Other times, well, here's a thought too, because like I said, a lot of times the process will begin in the legs and won't always venture up into the upper body right away, and that's fine. It can be normal. But If you have your hands kind of rested on your stomach or at your side, that tends to kind of close off the body from bringing the tremors up in the upper body. So a good way to invite the tremors to come in the upper body is to kind of bring the hands, I like kind of just out here, wherever's the most natural position for you. Some people might bring them up here. That doesn't feel as natural for me. So if that feels natural for you, go for it. For me, right about here is kind of my natural spot. So, and then a lot of times, and I'm giving you generalizations because everybody's going to be a little different. So, but a lot of times, what can happen is when somebody starts to get the tremoring in their upper body, it might just be like a little twitch in one of the fingers. So it's like the legs are tremoring and then you just kind of get a little twitch in the finger. And usually it's just kind of like one or two of them where it twitches, but then you might start feeling the shoulder kind of do little shrugs or depressions, and the head might start doing little circles. And cool thing there is I kind of just let the body do its little tremor thing, and I actually just got a couple little pops in my neck there, and that was completely involuntary. That was the body kind of doing its own thing. So another interesting pattern that can happen, like I was showing you before, the body sometimes, like I showed you before, will kind of just pull you off to one side. And one thing that happened, and this only has happened to me one time with the tremor process, and it was amazing. But my body was just kind of pulled all the way over like this, something to this effect. And all of a sudden, my body just kind of whipped over to the other side, something like that. And all the way up my spine, the whole thing just kind of popped and released. Every single vertebrae is what it felt like, and just felt completely freeing and liberating. And I've never been able to duplicate that before, but it's what the body wanted in that moment, and so the body made it happen. So, nice deep breath. Good. So, just kind of let your body breathe and relax. Where are we at? Oh, 14 minutes. Okay. Well, I said 15 to 20 minutes, and we had been going for, I don't know, about 5 minutes before I started the timer anyway. So we're right about the 20-minute mark here. So we're going to go ahead and wind down. If this is you doing this in your first 2 weeks, if you've been doing this for longer and you want to go for longer, you can. I'll kind of in a minute talk about the thought process behind that. So for right now, I want you to go ahead and just lay your legs flat, or if you want to take a couple deep breaths and then lay your legs flat, however you want to do that. But just kind of relax here. And again, you'll probably just kind of feel a subtle or not so subtle, very obvious wave of relaxation through the body here. Nice deep breath. Good. Now you can just hang out right here, and for those that want to just stay right here, go ahead and stay here. But again, like I've already talked about, the other option is just to kind of curl onto your side. You can use your arm to kind of cradle the head if you don't have a pillow. But just kind of relax here. And the more you kind of curl in, the better, without forcing it. You want it to feel comfortable. But the fetal position, that's the position when we were in the womb. That's how we were created. It's the most at home protected position. We're defending all of our internal organs here. And so the body is just able to relax that much more. It's able to settle. And so just kind of breathe and relax here, either on your side or laying on your back. Nice deep breath, audible exhale there. Good. So go ahead and just continue to relax in either position. When you're ready though, you're just going to slowly sit up. And you can just kind of hang out here on the ground, or get up onto a couch, but just know you might get a little bit of a head rush here. If that's the case, wait, let your body settle. So an interesting thing here is, even though everything we've done has been very gentle, a lot of it's really subtle. As you saw my body, it did some bigger things with it. But even though this process is completely natural and gentle, you might feel tomorrow like you did a little bit of a workout, a gentle workout. But so you want to make sure you're drinking a lot of water, stay really hydrated, get some good electrolytes in, make sure you're eating healthy food. That'll help your body support the process of releasing and organizing stress, tension, and trauma, so that your body can sort through all of that. So on the topic of how often to do tension releasing exercises, like I've mentioned already, for the first couple weeks, we're just going to do it for about 15 to 20 minutes, and we're going to do it about 2 or 3 times a week. So you could just aim to do it every other day. That would be a good way to gauge it. But even though this process is completely normal and natural to your body, your body needs to get used to you allowing it to happen. So like I already mentioned, it's common that you might be a little achy or sore afterwards. Some people won't feel that at all. But after a couple weeks of doing about 15 to 20 minutes, about 2 to 3 times a week, your body has kind of adapted to this natural process. And at that point, you can pretty much do it for as long as you feel comfortable. Okay? So, and again, I've said it a million times, no matter what, no matter how many times you've done this, it always has to feel comfortable and safe. Okay? So, learn to listen to your body. And the more you do this, the more you'll better be able to understand what it is your body does want. So one example of learning to listen to your body, there was one particular occasion that I laid down to do the Tremor process. I was planning on doing it for a full hour. And after doing the warm-up exercises and then laying down to Tremor, after just 5 minutes, my body was in a complete, settled, relaxed state. Like the most relaxed you could be. Like I was so relaxed. But I could just feel that my body didn't want to tremor anymore, even though it was still tremoring. I could feel it just wanted to sleep. And so following my body, I just rolled onto my side, laying in the fetal position. And this was on a hard concrete type floor with just a thin little yoga mat, not a pillow, just laying there. Fell asleep, probably slept for about 30-45 minutes just laying there on the hard ground. And when I woke up from that nap, it was the best nap of my entire life. Completely refreshed. And even though I was laying with my head like this the whole time, no kink in my neck, like total relaxation. And so the body in that scenario just wanted sleep. It just wanted to be at peace. And so I followed that. Let the body do its thing. So just learn to listen to your body and know that, again, as long as things feel comfortable and safe, that's totally normal for your body to do different things or want to do different things. So one thing I haven't mentioned is sometimes as you're doing the tension releasing process, you might have the urge to laugh or cry or cough. And each of those things are your body engaging and tremoring your diaphragm. And so go ahead and just let that happen. Obviously, if you're in a scenario where there's other people around that would hear and might think it's weird or whatever, you can suppress whatever. I wouldn't do this at the gym, just laying on the ground. That said, I have done this at the gym, but I always kind of suppress it and do a little bit more gentle tremor just because there's people walking around. So, listen to your body. If your body is naturally just kind of coughing or crying or laughing, let that happen. Get that diaphragm pumping and going. It's also going to be moving your organs as it does that. Your diaphragm really is a pump for all your internal organs, moving them up and down. It's not just for your lungs to breathe. It's pushing things down and up every time you breathe. So laugh, cry, cough. That's the diaphragm contracting, and that's totally natural. One concern some people might have is if they've had seizures in the past. Is this going to induce a seizure and whatnot? And now, first of all, if you're really concerned, talk to your doctor first. I'm not going to supersede their advice. You need to be safe. Everyone's scenario is different. But as a general rule, people that have had seizures, this is a completely different tremoring process, and they will feel that in their own bodies. If anytime you're doing this and something just doesn't feel right, you'll know. Listen to your body. But otherwise, as long as it feels comfortable and safe, allow the body to process. Allow it to sort through the trauma. Now, I haven't witnessed this personally, but I've heard of scenarios where someone that has had seizures in the past, the body will mimic a pattern of seizures, but the person is completely conscious, aware, and in control. And the body is just kind of sorting through that information. And if you're someone that has had seizures in the past, or especially currently does, definitely talk to your doctor. But if you're someone that has had seizures in the past, as a safe point, have somebody else there. But as a general rule, it is completely safe. Okay? But when in doubt, talk to your doctor and be safe about it. Obviously, I haven't covered every single detail that could possibly be discussed about tension releasing exercises. To get a real complex view of this information, if you want to dive deep into it, go to traumaprevention.com. I'll include a link in the video description. Dr. David Berselli, he's the one that discovered this process and has helped bring it to the world. He has written multiple books that'll all be on that website as well. In fact, I'll include some links in the video description to like Amazon or to his website, either one, so that you can have direct links to those. But this is an amazing process. If you're someone who is just simply looking for a way to help relax and calm tension in your body, tension releasing exercises, when done consistently, will work amazingly to help calm and relax tension in your body. Does tension releasing exercises help with sleep? Many people find that the process is very relaxing for them, and so they'll do it in the evening before going to bed, and it'll help them to get in a very deep and relaxed state. And then you can just go right to bed from there and help you to sleep easier. In some scenarios, certain people will find that it energizes them, and so it can be a good way to start the day off. Another thing to mention, just because we went through this set of exercises to warm up the body for the tension releasing process, doesn't mean you have to do that every time. If you already feel your body kind of getting into a tremor process on its own, you might be able to just lay down and do it and let your body tremor. A good rule of thumb is just after a long day at work and your body's already tired and fatigued, you could just lay on the ground and do that last exercise, the butterfly bridge or the bridge. And as if your body's already tired and fatigued, then that might be all you need, and then you can do the tremor process there. Or if you just got back from the gym or from doing yoga or doing yard work or whatever it is that has fatigued your body, a lot of times you can just go right into the tremor process. The other thing too is if you're someone who experiences anxiety, depression, strong emotions that are overstimulating the body, the tension releasing exercises, that's the perfect time to do it. Again, always listen to your body. If for some reason your body doesn't want to do the process, then don't do it. When your body's overstimulated in any way, the tension releasing process is a great tool to help your body sort through that information and bring things back to a state of homeostasis or balance.